Everyone, we're live. It's Thursday night. It is we're almost there. It's almost the end of the interlull. Can we feel it, guys? Can we feel it, Alonso?
Yeah.
I just want it to be over.
I mean, it does make sense why it's so long, it's just brutal, I guess. But I'm ready for it to start back up.
Sam, have you been following? I have not been following any of the international games. So,
Well, I can tell you one interesting story regarding Norway is the Norwegian men's team. There was some kind of issue with the corona thing. They due to something that happened as a team, there's a couple of the players they're supposed to field or whatever that tested positive, and so the whole team had to go into quarantine. And so instead of pulling out of the fixture against Austria, it was what's it called, the League of Nations, fixture.
yeah,
Instead of pulling out, what they actually did is they managed to field a team of reserves, basically people that were guys at a professional level playing around in Europe, not youth, just who'd been at youth level, but also senior level, playing around in Europe, and they managed to field a squad of reserves, and they were called, like, it's basically, they called them the reserve team, to come in and to play the fixture, so they didn't have to forfeit the fixture. And there was just so much media around it, just basically a bunch of guys who'd never played before. You can just imagine this, guys, just they're not even top professionals, just coming in to play. And they did quite well, actually. They were winning 1-0 until like the last minute. Then Austria scored, so ended up 1-1. So it was actually quite a good result in the end. But yeah, that's just an amazing story. The whole first team had to quarantine, so they brought in last minute. They had to bring in a team of reserves.
I forget when I used to play football. I forget what they used to call those, Gary.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, isn't that Slobberslai from Austria?
Hungarian.
Oh, it's Hungarian.
Hungarian.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Their top player was Arnautovic. Remember Arnautovic?
Yeah.
Okay.
The poor man's I forget his name now, the Swedish guy. I'm terrible lately with names now.
Zlatan.
Zlatan, the poor man Zlatan.
He thinks he's Zlatan, but he hasn't got any of the skills,
Ibrahimovic, yeah.
Well, he has the look and the demeanor. It works, right? So they
he's got the swagger. He just doesn't have the skills.
So the countdown
you can't have it all.
The countdown begins, Miss Melina. Welcome, everybody's here, including Sexy Sam.
Oh my God!
Again.
I'm never going to shake that, am I? That's stuck now.
Never going to shake it.
Slap
a like and subscribe on here, and hopefully Gunnar Kirk can join us. Good to see you, DWT. Gary and Stephen. God, Stephen, I forgot to give you the message. I usually give Stephen, without fail, a message before we go online, before we go live. But you found us anyway, Steve, so thanks for being here. Military Gunnar and Brownie's here as well. But Gary, we've had some interlull problems. I know you've been banging the drum. Kieran Tierney, last international break, and now we've got three of our own kind of caught or tested positive from COVID.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time, right? Only a matter of time. I've basically been saying we shouldn't even have it at all, right?
Yeah,
there's no need to have it, and the big boys haven't been hit with it yet, or if they have, they're not letting us know. The Messis, the Ronaldos and stuff, the Lewandowskis, nobody big, right? And nobody who everybody cares about has got it yet, but I think I'm surprised. Like, I know the club teams can't really control what players do on an international break, but I just feel like, you're just setting yourself up for a bad thing to happen. So yeah, and it has, right? It's hit us. I mean, and we're letting players fly away. So
what's the point? Why are we doing international football when everywhere's locked down? You're not supposed to travel anywhere. Yeah. But here these guys, squads of 30, 40 people flying all over the place. I mean, it's just stupid, isn't it?
Yeah. And nobody has the same set rules, so they're not. I mean, you see what they showed Terrera and his teammates all sitting around a fire, basically, no masks on. turns out 3 of those players have it, right? So like it's, it's the rules aren't applying, and especially in those type of situations where it's players who haven't been together for a month or two, and then they come together, all of a sudden it's okay. There, no rules there. Yeah, you could see it coming. It's here. Luckily, this is the last break for a while, but
Yeah.
I think they should. I think they should do what they did when this first thing hit, where they just basically said, you know what, we're going to postpone for now, and then we'll start it back up at a later time. And because they're going to have time now to say, you know what, let's do the international tournaments all at the end of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then get them all done, whatever needs to be done, qualifiers or whatever. I mean, who needs a friendly? The games are thick and fast as it is, but they have friendlies going on, and teams are, playing. I mean,
they've made friendlies a little bit more competitive now with this League of Nations crack. So
Yeah, but like, the one thing that concerns me is Saka played 3 games in 6 days and played well. Are we going to get that same guy when he comes back?
No, because he's going to have the handbrake on, isn't he, when he comes back?
Not only that, but he's probably going to be. He's tired.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, probably get injured now. Just wait, he'll get injured. He'll pull out.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really play him the way we want if based on where he's been for the last 2 weeks. I think we've seen him play, a Thursday and a Sunday and die and not make it through the second game. So I can't.
Yeah.
If we're looking out for our players, he's one that we just can't afford to get hurt.
So thanks everybody for coming and joining us tonight. We've got the Assemble, the Revenant, we've got Brownie, Footballer Brownie in here, Military Gooner, Steve Denham, Berlina, and a few others in here. So good stuff, everyone. Gary, I wanted to dive into the 3 players, and that's why I thought you were going to tell me a bit more about this steak guy. What happened with Willian and the steak?
Well, my understanding is that I think he got approval to go, as long as he came back and he was negative.
And
or he just
steaks
went
back for everybody, or what? Did he take orders before he left?
No, he did not share. I mean, he's a greedy bastard. He just went off, got steak, and then bringing any back. I mean, what's up with that? He's supposed to be a teammate.
He left the country to go get steak.
He's making enough money to buy a steak for everyone. Come on.
All right. So on a serious note, we've got Kolasinac tested positive. We've got El Neni, the Egyptian king, tested positive, and we got Willian. Tony, what do you make of all this, Tony?
I just think it's pointless to be having these international games right now. I would waited and just postponed or got rid of all the stupid Nations Cup. It's a pointless deal. I don't know what they're going to do with Europe Championship in the summer, and either just have it all in the early summer and be done with it instead of putting all these players at risk. It's really stupid.
So, Sam, we have a situation like Tony's talking about. We are putting players at risk. As Gary mentioned, Saka is a young player. He wants to impress for England. He's going to put all of his eggs into that England basket and come back spent for his club game on Sunday, and he's probably not going to feature. Probably not going to feature. We understand probably the mindset of the young kid. He wants to impress, gets into the England setup. He wants to do his best there, and he's played 3 times a week.
Yeah, exactly. He's played a lot of games now in a short amount of time. He's given it a lot, hasn't he? He's been man of the match for England and stuff, and he's played really well. We've seen that for England, without the handbrake on, he's actually that great player we saw last season, when Emery sort of gave him more of a free rein as well, right? We saw a lot more from Saka then. He's a great little player. He just needs to be able to express himself. And unfortunately now, he's played too much now in too short amount of time. And I'm worried about him getting injured. He'll probably have to rest now, which isn't good because he's one of our better players. So we're in a position as well now with the international break is causing our players to, they're going to come back and need a rest, which is absolutely ridiculous. And so I'm worried if we play him now against Leeds. Leeds are a high-intensity, high-pressing team. If we're going to play him against Leeds, he'll probably get an injury, and I don't want to see that. So he'll probably have to be on the bench, which might not be beneficial for us. So it's not great, is it?
Yeah, so I wanted to shout out Urban Ghost as well. He's one of the people I missed out. I don't want to miss people out when they come to watch as well. Alonso, what's your take on the international? How did you get through the interlull? What did you do this week to
I
get
worked.
through?
I worked
Work.
late. But I saw some of the England and Belgium game, and I think by that time, Saka was already off the pitch. He was still playing, and even still, he looked pretty good. So, but I think that Saka is still young. I think he could just shake it off. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see if Arteta can
I
give.
can I can see it on Gary's face. He's not,
Well, I mean,
he's
we never
still
know. I mean,
beaming about it.
he's just uh, he wants to impress, like Sam said. So maybe he plays. Who knows? But we need a win. So we'll
Yeah.
get to that later, I'm sure. But I think that it's a bad idea to have our players go on international play, especially nowadays. And we for Minnesota Nene, I think he's been doing good this year, and so I think it's a risk that they took, and it didn't work out. So I think that we have to make do what we have, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Okay, so the next segment in the show is, as Alonso brought us into it, might go clockwise, so I might start you off, Gary. We're going to talk about what happens next. Post Villa, we all know what happened in the Villa game. Let's not look backwards. Let's look forward. This is it. We're in the pre-Leeds stage, and we want to maybe talk about what kind of team we can put out on Sunday. What kind of formation? Maybe give me two formations that Arteta should move forward with in the season. I've got two in my head, so it'll come around to me to mention my two. But what do you think, Gary? Given the players that we have out, El Nani is out. What do you think is going to happen on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think with all these, with no depth and I'm just like looking at it. Saka played three games in 6 days. Tierney played 3 games in 6 days. Pepe actually played 2 full games. When's the last time he's done that? I mean, Aubameyang had to sleep on the floor in a hotel in an airport.
Airport, yeah.
I mean, his back's probably, who knows what his back feels like now. I mean, we're lucky to get through the game, I think. I mean, I think I said this at the beginning of the season.
Gary.
Well, be positive.
Says Tony. Says Mr. Negative.
That's me, I guess. Yeah. No.
The all important thing Tony wants to know about is how did it go with Xhaka? That's what he wants to know.
Did Xhaka get through?
No, I mean, I've always said that I thought we would play the 3-4-3 until we get through these 10 games that we had looked at and realized, these are some tough games. And so if you're playing at 3-4-3, there's nothing new you need to incorporate into the team. Everybody knows what it is. Most of the players have seen it before. I think Partey and Gabriel shouldn't have an issue with it, right? So I always thought that's what we would stick with. We've been going back and forth between, a 4-3-3 and a 3-4-3, and it's like, you know what? These guys need consistency from game to game. I think Arteta is going to go with a 3-4-3. I would like him to do a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, just to give us a little bit more help on the front, in the middle and in the front. I think that's what I'm looking for there. I like to see Ainsley play. I mean, I think he's rested. Hector also played during the break. I think Ainsley needs to play. I'd like to see that. I mean, I think with Leeds, I feel like we want more of a defensive presence at this point. I think if we don't, Bamford could have some too much space there. I mean, I think Gabriel can handle him, but I also like to see a little bit more presence with Ainsley there. The fact that the Ceballos thing, this is not really an internal. Well, we've had too much stuff. Ceballos went round 2 with another player, right?
Yeah, we want to mention that in a little bit. We want to go.
So I'm like, is Ceballos and Luis going to play? If
Oh wait, Gary, he's got previous.
He's got yes. But I guess Luis has had his run-ins, right? So, like I said, I think the formation will be I mean, I think it will be a 3-4-3 because I think they know it, and I think it'd be easy for us to try to keep Leeds kind of contained, and hopefully we can then use the counterattack on them. I think I went through the game, the Leeds game last week, and I looked at it, and they got an own goal on a long pass up the side that on a cross went in, but that long pass, we need that. I think that's one of the ways we can break them down is with that long pass. A lot of the goals in there were, like I said, easy, meaning that the defenses fell asleep, and then if we stay in our 3-4-3, they may fall asleep on us, and we'll be able to attack them. I think if we go 4-4-2, we might be playing right into their hands. Bamford with any opportunity will score. I mean, he had a goal taken. Like I think in our game, similar to our game where we had the goal come back and that basically killed our mojo and momentum in the game. They had the same thing happen to them. They tied the score up. It got called back for what reason, I don't know. They said he was offsides, but not from the camera views they showed. And after that, I think they kind of maybe lost their way. So I think I'm looking. Like I said, I fear the 4-3-3, the 3-4-3. But I'd like to see us probably go. I would like to see us go with a 4-4-2, but I'll be surprised if we do that. So
The assembled also feels like it's going to be a tough week for us. Ray will be a week inside. Perfect excuse to lose. Fighting, flying, COVID. It's all nonsense, And I hope it's all nonsense in terms of the international break. So you would go with 3-4-3, Gary, I think, or a 4-3-3 in that way. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go to Tony next. Tony, what two formations would you like us to see moving forward, and what specifically would you like to see on Sunday? It's going to give you positivity about the results.
I'd like to see 3-4-3 again. I'd like to see Niles get back and play left wing back instead of Saka playing there. I don't think Saka does as good in that role. And I'd also long term would like to see a 4-2-2-2 with Uber and Laka up front and Pepe and Saka on the wings.
Like the Revenant has gone with as well. Into Maitland-Niles, Gabriel, Luis, Tierney, Partey, Elneny, Willock, Saka, Pepe and Alba up top. Sam, what do you think for Sunday?
Yeah, I think Leeds, they're a tough team. They've got a high intensity, high press game. They're gonna push us really high up the pitch, try and force us into making mistakes, in our half, and that's their game plan normally for most games, and it works very well. So we're gonna have to be concentrated. We're gonna have to be at our best. Our passing game's got to be really good to get around them. But like Gary said, I think where they're weak is in their defence. They haven't got the greatest defence, but where they're really good is they're good at defending by pressing high up the field. So they get the ball early. But if you get past them and into their defence, that is where they're weak. So I think if we play more direct, we're gonna have to play more direct. We're gonna have to play longer balls. We're gonna have to play more direct to bypass their players and get past them early. That's where I think Luis could be vital because his long passing is really good. His direct play, his long passes can be really good, and could be a key for us to play early balls up to our forwards and create something. Because if we play early balls, try and bypass midfield as much as we can. I know it sounds crazy, but playing through midfield against Leeds is not really always a good idea. So you have to try and bypass midfield, play direct up to the wings, try and create that direct play. In terms of formations, we are familiar with the 3-4-3. I just think we need to play direct as we did when Luis last played. That was really effective. That first half he played before he got injured, he was just pinging those balls in, and we were so effective. We looked so much better at that time. That's that type of play we need to play against Leeds. We'll see if we can do it. And but the formation I would like to see really to try and generate more of an attacking play is, I wouldn't mind seeing like a 4-2-3-1, where we have Tierney, Gabriel Luiz. For me, Luiz plays a lot better with Gabriel. You get also the added bonus of Luiz's long balls and precise long passing. And then Bellerin is basically our best option at the moment for me on the right, just because going forwards he's a bit better than what Maitland-Niles is. And then in central midfield it'd be a combination if they're fit. Partey and El Neni. That's obviously not what we're going to be seeing now. I'm just talking about what my desired formation would probably be now going forward. I'd like to see them two deep in midfield, and then in front of them I'd like to see an attacking player. I'd like to see a Smith Rowe. I'd like to see a Willock. I think Willock's earned a chance to play in that role. I'd love to see how Smith Rowe plays now in a Europa League game, to see if he can hold the same level, and then maybe get a chance in the league as well. And then on each side of the wings, you've got, for me, Saka out left and Pepe out right. Pepe, just because he hasn't been great. He's Long John Silver, of course, but he's still better. He's still better than Willian. For me, he's better than what Willian is doing, and he's better than what Reece Nelson's producing. So he's got that more of that. He's got more of that, top end skill that he can pull out of the bag now and again. That just comes now and again. All of a sudden, that shot will come. That curler into the far corner, or that, that banger into the top. To the top under the crossbar. He's got that in him where I don't see Willian or Reece Nelson doing that. So, that's why I'd like to see Pepe get that chance out right. And like Gary says, he deserves a run of games now to see. I think now is a chance where it's either sink or swim with him. We've got to see with Pepe now, we'll give you a run of games. I'll give you 5 games. These 5 games, you've got to show us, are you worth, you're going to be an Arsenal player, you're going to be a top Arsenal player, someone we really want and someone we're really going to hold on to for the future and really produce, or are you going to sink and we're just going to have to get rid of you at the end of the season. That's what it is. Sink or swim time now for Pepe. Give him a run of games to do it. And then Aubameyang in the middle, where he's best. I mean, you can say what you want of him about playing out left, right, or wherever. It's in the middle where he's always done his best. He's done his best work for Dortmund, his best work for his country, and best work in his previous clubs he's done through the middle. That's his bread and butter. So you get him in the middle on the end of crosses and at the end of passes, and we can create stuff through the middle with Smith Rowe or Willock there, give them a chance. Maybe potentially going forward when Martinelli's back, then maybe play Martinelli out left and put Saka maybe in that role in the middle behind Aubameyang. But 4-2-3-1 I'd like to see. I think 4-4-2 is also, just very quickly, 4-4-2 is also interesting, but I just think that's too far away from what the guys are used to at the moment. I think it's too much of a departure tactically from what they're used to, even though I think it could potentially work with the partnership of Aubameyang and Lacazette if they play in the right roles together up front there together as a partnership. But again, that 4-4-2, the way you have to play in midfield with the wings going back, the wings have to be very defensive in a 4-4-2, to be able to
they have to put the work in. They
have to put the work in to plug up the holes, because you've got 2 on each side. They have to plug up the holes defensively. So I just think that's too much of a departure from where we are now. But 4-2-3-1 I could definitely see happening. I'd like to see that happen. Probably not going to happen, though. I think we're going to see. So what we see at the weekend is going to be 3-4-3, like I say, and there's a few players out. Of course, we're going to be seeing different players, but I just want to see us play direct. That's what I'm saying. We've got to play direct. The way to beat Leeds is you got to bypass midfield, play direct straight up to one of the wingers or one of the inside forwards, and play up direct. And that's where Luiz could be key for us. So I hope Luiz comes back for us now and shows us how to do it.
Yeah. Stephen Denham said he wants us to start finishing our chances, be clinical, give Pepe a good run of games, stick with him, let him know he's our guy. Give him the confidence instead of dropping him after a decent game or scoring. And I think with Willian going to get stakes and testing positive, he's definitely going to have that opportunity. Pepe is.
Well, he's not shown anything, has he? Willian's shown that he needs to be dropped now. He's been terrible for a few games now, so he needs to be dropped. Yeah. And I think you need to give Pepe that confidence. Sit him down and say, "Listen, okay, now you're going to get the next 5 games. We're going to give you 5 games. Show us show us what you're worth. Show us what you can do, and then that should give him the confidence, knowing he's going to play. Because I think that's been playing on his mind, and he said it, didn't he, in that interview? He said, it's not a nice feeling not knowing if you're going to play or not. What's going on. He doesn't know. He never knows what's going on. So I think that plays on him, and it plays on his confidence, and then that affects his play. So if you give him that confidence, say, listen, I'm going to play you now for 5 games, no matter what. You're getting 5 games. Show us what you can do.
Younger players need that. They need that confidence for the coach, the manager, to give them the run in the team. Adam said, football with Brandy. Leeds have had their purple patch now. Only one way they're going now, and that's downhill. They'll probably stabilize into being a mid-table team, but we're there too, as well. Lacazette once benching when he was on form and scoring. Arteta kept him out, so why play him all the time out of form? Arteta's team choices batter your head at times. What he's thinking. I'm thinking of Tony. Those are probably. Steve Denham and Tony are birds of the similar color there. Birds of a feather stick together, Tony. Arteta always does that. His decisions on leaving players out is baffling. Steve Denham, this is the one who's a manager at the moment. He's tight in defence, by stopping the attack. So we talked about this before. We've got the defence pretty much sorted, the Aston Villa game notwithstanding. And now it's just about getting some balance up front here, as Stephen said. Molina said, trust the process, but what process is there with Willian? Also, always lost and confused on the pitch. He really needs to be dropped. He's so poor. So, this all points to Pepe really should be geeing himself up now to have a run in the team. If I was Pepe, I'd be getting myself mentally attuned to the fact that I could have a few games in the team now. Sam bypassing midfield will only give the opposition the ball quicker as the attack hasn't got confidence.
Not if you play those balls directly to one of our players. If we can do what we did that first half. Who was it played then? Or was it Leicester? Was it Leicester? We played really well the first half, and he got injured. I can't remember now which one it was. But
we played really well. Yes.
Yeah, I think
because when Luis was pinging those passes directly,
that was the Leicester game.
It was just hitting players all the time, and it was just really good to see. If we can do that something like that against Leeds, I think that's the way to go. Because if we go through midfield with Leeds, they're just too intense. Their press is too good. It's just I can see us losing so much of the battle in midfield.
The great thing about that was that David Luiz was doing that. The bad thing was that he's a defender, and we should have midfielders and wingers that are doing that, and we should have attackers that are doing that. So somehow David Luiz was showing the way. I agree with what you said, a lot of what you said, Sam. Formations and players. I would go with 3-4-3 against the teams that we are going fighting, the teams up in the top. Man City's, Liverpool's. We've shown that we can get a consistent spread of results against Liverpool, against City, against Chelsea. But against the other teams, we need to do something different. I agree with you. 4-2-3-1 is the way to go. I've been crying out for Joe Willock to come into the team, and hopefully he comes in on Sunday. Emile Smith-Rowe gets past his injury problems. We have Gabriel and David Luiz at the back. I somewhat agree with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, so we're going to be split on whether it's Bellerin or Ainsley Maitland-Niles here. I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a better player. And up front, you hit on something really good, Sam. I'm starting to agree with you in playing Aubameyang through the center. This is my caveat, because Aubameyang needs to play close to Pepe, and I think that they can work off of each other. If they're not going to be playing as a two up front, then put Aubameyang through the middle, and he can help on that right side with Pepe. So hopefully Saka will get into the team on the left wing as well. And that's how what I feel about Leeds. I think probably Ceballos will be playing with Partey in midfield as well. No, Gary? What do you think?
Not if, I mean, we'll get to it later, but not if Arteta follows his rules.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I want to get Alonso in on his formation and players for Sunday. What do you think, Alonso?
Well, I think that guys have all good, valid good points. And I think that we should go maybe to a three midfield with Ceballos and Partey, and maybe Joe Willock gets a shot. And so as much as I want to see Emil Smith Rowe, I don't think he's ready yet. And if he is, then at what point will he be? Because either he's hurt or he's not ready. So it's kind of frustrating because I too want to see Emil Smith Rowe on the team as well. But I don't know why Arteta's holding him back. And he's been playing with the U21s, I believe, and he's done pretty well from what I've heard on Twitter. So hopefully he gives a shot here pretty soon. If not now, we're gonna win. But I like the three-man midfield with Joe Willock at the number 10. Maybe a 4-4-2. Maybe to give Lacazette and Aubameyang a chance to succeed. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what I agree with you, Alonso. We want to see Emil Smith Rowe, and we still have 3 Europa League games, Steve. The group stage is probably all sewn up for us, but we still have 3 Europa League games that Emil Smith Rowe.
And on that real quick, I want to say Maitland Niles as well, because I think that he's been willing to play. It's just he's been on a bench so many times, and I'm going to see him do well as well. So hopefully he'll start, or maybe not. I mean, I want to see him do well too. So hopefully he gets a shot.
Yeah, I dissembled here. I always love your comments, dissembled. Ray, by sorting the attack will weaken the defense. So the choice is trick or treat. Why can't I? This astounds me about Arsenal, and it's nothing against your comment because I agree with you. Somehow we mess with the defense, and it weakens our attack. We mess with the attack, it weakens our defense. How come, Gary, we're the only team in the Premier League that has this problem?
I'm glad you gave me that. Yeah, the reason why it looks bad is because as a team we don't play 11 players on the attack, so nobody's supporting the other. So half the team is attacking, half the team is falling asleep at the wheel. Next thing you know, they're on a counterattack, and they're not. Nobody knows what's going on. They don't cut off a pass. They're not there when the ball leaks out. I mean, I feel like if you're playing 11 guys and you're on the attack, they all should know what's going on. They should know where the opponents are in the field. I feel like when we're playing 1 or 2 players are playing one thing and another set of players are playing something else. A mistake happens and nobody's there to support them. I mean, this is you see it all the time. Teams, you see the big teams, right? When they attack, they kind of all attack as one. So the whole team is moving towards the goal. Everybody's protecting. They make the field a lot smaller. We kind of spread things out. Next thing you know, we're beat on their counter. We don't know where our men are on the field. I mean, it's more of, I don't know if Arteta's teaching it. Like I said, I always go back to my favorite quote. Either he's teaching it or he's letting it happen. Right? Right? So either he's letting them go out there and not perform their roles when we attack and leave things open behind the attack, and that's why there's so much space there. And when there's a lot of space, next thing you know, they're running on our defenders who have no clue what's going on. Or, they fall asleep at the wheel and they let Vardy just run right by them. I mean, these are things that you got to know as a defense, and we don't do that sometimes. Like I said, we fall asleep at the wheel sometimes, and I think that's why our attacks look so bad when they happen. Is because we're not, as a team, we're not prepared, and it kind of leaves us open. I mean, the one thing I wanted to say is that to Stan's statement there. I think Ray gave us all a bed pass. So one show a season, we all get to do the show from our bed. Just because we are we are that kind of show where it's just you're just hanging with friends.
Yeah, we are laid back. Yeah. Just don't take us to the bathroom, Tony.
It's in the fine print. You don't want to do that.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see what the Bears see when he's wrestling.
But like just to finish up, I definitely feel like when we attack, the reason why it looks so bad is because we're not supporting the attack as a whole.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's like a breathing animal, right? Isn't that what we said before? A team should should move in unison together, Gary.
Yeah. But I mean, you see it cleanly with like the Man Cities when they're all starting to when they're going on their attack. Everybody is, if they're playing whatever formation they're playing at on their attack, they're all in that space as they move closer and closer to the goal. So there's no gaps there. There's no players sitting there by themselves where they can get the ball and get space and run on the defense. I think for us, time and time again, when sometimes we lose the ball, and the reason why we lose the ball is because either the pass is late or whoever's on the ball freaks out, and next thing you know, the ball's gone. They make a pass to who knows who, and next thing you know, the other team's going the other way. I mean, I feel like we don't practice these things,
No. So sorry, Gary. So whereas you gave Tony the pass, I was going to use it as a perfect segue to the non-negotiables.
I like my idea because you're non-negotiable. Well, it all depends. Is your non-negotiable? Is it the Arteta one? So it's kind of like, what?
While I'm just busted on Tony, the non-negotiable could be not to have the podcast from your bedside, but yes, we'll give Tony a pass.
Yeah, but Tony went to Dubai and got his steak when you said he couldn't. So you know what? That's what he did with his pass. He said, "I'm going to do it from my bed."
Fair steak. Yeah. So listen, Gary, perfect segue to the non-negotiable. And since you mentioned it earlier, I'll have you start it off today. I actually believe Ornstein. If anyone has not heard, there's been another training ground incident between Danny Ceballos, who has had previous, as I mentioned before, and this time with David Luiz. There's nothing wrong with this. I don't believe there's anything wrong with this. You want this on the training field, right, Gary?
You want it on the training field. I would like to also see it on the field itself, right? Because then that's what it's supposed to. That's what we've been practicing with each other and all of that, and I'm getting pissed off of playing against you every day, and that's when these things happen, right? You see the same person every day. You know what they're gonna do. They give you a little nudge, whatever it is. Next thing you know, you're done with it, and that's when these fights break out. I think it's natural to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's following with his rules, they don't play, right? They may, I don't think when this happened with Ceballos and Eddie, I don't think that they didn't start the game, right?
They didn't start for the full. It was for the Fulham game, but they were both instrumental in the West Ham game in winning it for us.
So maybe they got the message, right? Ceballos obviously didn't because it happened again.
Well, you know what's going to happen on Sunday? That Ceballos is going to set up David Luiz to score the winning goal with 5 minutes to go. So
he's going to set up Luiz. How's he going to do that?
Because that's what happened for the West Ham game.
True.
It's all set up. It's all set up, Gary. It's going to happen.
Big old mop of hairs that score of a goal.
Yeah.
Tony,
you know what I think? Yeah, I think what's going to happen is, Ceballos will kick it off of Luis's nose to get back at him, and then that's how he gets back at him. So
the ball will go in the back of the net off of David Luiz's big nose.
There you go.
Assemble Aubameyang isn't what you believe me. If you can't find space on the left wing with one defender, how is he going to find space with two centre backs? I don't believe he's going to find space eventually for himself, but I think he's going to bring other players into the team playing centrally, Saka and Pepe, such as that Sheffield United game, right, Gary?
Yeah, and what you said there was pretty, centrally. I think that's what we want more than we want him all the way on the left wing by the touchline. I think that's kind of when people say when I hear we want him in the middle, it's more we just want him centrally. Like you watch some of these plays where he's coming off the edge and he curls in and he's inside the box when he gets the pass. Now when he gets the ball, he's out close to the touchline. He can't work I think he works better coming in towards the goal when he gets his pass. When he's got to go out and get it and come back in, that's the problem. I think he needs to be closer to the middle of the field essentially when he gets that ball.
Yeah, well, I mean when he's out left, he's getting the ball out left. Like you say, closer to the touchline. Then his job then is not to score goals. His job then is to pass the ball. And he's passing the ball to Lacazette, he literally couldn't hit water if he fell out of a canoe. So, it's It's all set up wrong. It's all set up wrong. You know, that's what it is.
Or worse still, he's actually bringing the ball back into midfield, Sam. You know, playing it back to Partey and whoever else is in midfield.
I always go back to that one play where on the left-hand side you've got Tierney, Gabriel, and Aubameyang all on the left-hand side, and the ball kind of goes back and forth between Gabriel and Tierney, and then Tierney makes that one long pass off the left side that curls in. Aubameyang gets it on the run, and next thing you know, we got a goal. We don't see that anymore, you know. And
what we should do. I mean, Aubameyang, if Aubameyang's playing out left like that, then what we need to do, especially against Leeds, who love a high press, we've got to be able to have the balls to play an early ball into the space behind the defence. Because when they're pressing high with a high line, they're leaving a lot of space behind them. And Aubameyang, he knows how to exploit that space. And Tierney, he knows how to pass into that space. He's got a great passing foot. Yeah. So what we got to do is we should get the ball early to Tierney, and Tierney looks at Aubameyang, and Aubameyang, who should be playing off the shoulder of the last defender, we should just be pumping that ball into that space right behind him directly, because that, you know, we should be able to have the ball to do that. Yes, that is, it's playing the ball into space instead of to someone's feet, which I know Arsenal players and Arteta doesn't like to do that. They don't like to play the ball into space because that's you're playing it in and you're hoping something's going to happen, right? Instead of playing a secure pass to someone's feet. But against teams like Leeds like this, we've got to play the ball into space behind the defence, and Aubameyang's going to outrun the Leeds defenders and get to that ball.
Yeah, exactly, Sam. The thing with Aubameyang as well is that he can be part of the knitting of the front players up front. So that's something we need to look out for against Leeds, and we will most likely be doing a pre-game show.
Just to finish my point off with that, because I've actually seen a lot of analysis that Adrian Clark has done on this, and it's been really interesting to see, because there's been a lot of times when we've got the ball early that, you know, the opposition's attack has broken down early. And you can see Aubameyang out left. He is close. He's just off the shoulder of their defender, and he's ready to go. He is ready to go into that space behind the fence. And you can see Tierney's got the ball, and he's looking at him, and he can see it. But there's obviously some instruction there not to play this way, because instead of passing the ball through or over the top to do it, which he could do, he's passing the ball into the middle or passing the ball to the side. You know, so it's an obvious instruction, a tactical instruction to keep the ball at our feet and play to our feet instead of into space. But I really hope on Leeds we don't, against Leeds and the teams that press us high like that, we can't do that. You know, we need to play into space, and that's where we need to take more chances.
Yeah, I mean, if Arteta takes a look at Leeds' last game and sees and looks at what Crystal Palace did. They always had space out there. On those guys on the outside had space. Every time the pass came in, they had space. I mean, Zaha got the ball with like nobody by him. Was able to cut inside, and like anything else, the defense broke down, and they were able to get a goal out of it. That can definitely happen. Like you said, I think the instructions aren't to make those long passes because I think he doesn't like the ball to go long because he feels like it's going to come back. But you have to take what the defense gives you, and then giving that to us. And when that's usually how it works, right? The defense gives you something, you take it and exploit it. When you hold back, then you're playing right into their hands, right?
What we should do is have runners going into the box and Aubameyang sit out there on the left side and isolate Aubameyang, get him the ball that way. You know, Sam, do you think the system's too rigid? So this is something I wanted. Definitely. This is something I wanted to get into. On the restart, we noticed the water breaks. Now, the water breaks were crucial, I'm going to say, on the restart, because Arteta had that time to actually get all 11 players in front of him and smooth out some kinks here and there. What we've seen since then, the season started, we don't have 5 substitutes, and Arteta's pretty much, they're able to hear him barking orders, and he is being too rigid in terms of where he wants everybody to go.
Yeah, I think it's been our biggest problem this season so far, just his rigidity and the players he's choosing. the tactics he's choosing, not making changes in
And
game.
Tony, rigidity is a very, very good thing when you're trying to defend. It's very, very good to be able to be rigid and tell your players what they need to do to defend. Well, you can't tell creative players how to be creative. It just isn't that. It doesn't work that way, right?
And you can't have them dropping back, playing false nines or defensive forward or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, if you think about it, by the time Arteta's told him where to pass it, it's too late. I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
The other players are listening too, Gary.
the one of the passes never happens because they're waiting for the coach to tell them, and by the time they tell them, guess what? The defense has their ears on too, right? And they're like, okay, well, maybe that's not going to happen. So then,
Another thing is with good players. I'm talking high level good players. I mean, the type of players are high level Arsenal players. You should have what I think we should have a defensive. You have a structure without the ball. You know what you're doing without the ball, and then when you have the ball, these guys should just let them loose.
Yeah.
Let them loose. They know how to play football. They know they've been doing this since they were 5 years old. You can let these guys. You can trust these guys. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a formation. You have some kind of overall structure, some kind of idea of how strategically you should be playing against the team you're playing against. But going down to that micro management level, that we've been seeing with Arteta that's been reported, where he's actually telling the guys where to pass the ball. I mean, come on, you do that. You do that with a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
You tell a 10-year-old where to pass the ball. You don't tell a world-class footballer who's making £200,000 a week. You don't tell him where he needs to pass the ball. We need to let these guys express themselves. Let them play. Let them do what they. I'm saying this loosely now. Do what they want to do when they attack, and they'll figure it out. They know how to play together. They'll figure it out. They'll do something together to get an effective, and creative attack. If they're able to do it. But I think Arteta is holding them back with the ball as well. I think he's got a very specific way he wants to play the game, both with and without the ball. And it's all about, it's like a game of chess, and it's just holding us back so much when we have the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, now that with what you're saying, I'm kind of going back to when Pepe scored with his right foot, and then I think he got pulled out of the game after that, right? I think he got punished. We all thought he was getting arrested. He probably got punished because he went against the grain and shot with his other foot. I don't think that makes any sense to me now. I'm figuring Arteta out. I got this right. He's got certain rules. You don't follow them. You sit. You kick with your right foot. You sit. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it can make it so much easier with these guys. I mean, you got Aubameyang, you got Pepe, you got Saka, you got guys like Willock, Smith Rowe, you got Ceballos was an awesome. He was the player of the tournament in the under-21 World Championships back in, I can't remember what year it was, but for the under-21 World Championships for Spain, he was the player of the tournament. He was also an absolute baller for Real Betis at the age of 19, 20, playing in that attacking midfield role. I mean, these guys, you don't need to tell them how to pass the ball. You tell them, okay, this is the formation, this is the idea we have. Go out there and express yourself. Do it.
Yeah.
Give them more free rolls. Give Aubameyang a free roll. Let him do what he wants to do.
And I really hope he has figured that out in the last 2 weeks. Stan says he has a feeling Mikel will pick Nelson over Pepe. I actually believe Nelson could play on the left, Stan, and Pepe could play on the right on Sunday. We will see what happens. I think Gary was shaking his head.
No, I'm shaking my head because I'm like, if Saka can't play, then I guess, that's what we'll have to do. But I kind of would like to see kind of Willock get in there somehow, right?
Willock.
I don't know where he's gonna where he would set up. I mean, he's set up in the middle and he's set up on the right. Where does he actually go where he can be beneficial and kind of work with some of the starters. I mean, I hate to see them get like Pepe, and I think Aubameyang are probably going to play, right? It's just a matter of who's going to play with them.
Yes. Pepe and Aubameyang +1 probably if we're in front three. There's no way Nelson deserves a chance before Pepe, but I can see Arteta giving him a go. Pepe is the future. The sooner Arteta gets him playing, the better. And Sam, you were talking about Ceballos. I actually think he played really, really well on the restart for us, and one of the big reasons why we had that cup run, let's say, and got ourselves kick-started to get to the cup final. We didn't do great things in the league on the restart. Obviously,
But I
finishing
think Ceballos has shown that he has a lot of good defensive attributes as well. That's the thing with Ceballos, is he's such a good reader of the game.
Yeah.
He knows where to position himself. He's such a good reader of the game. You know, he intercepts a lot of passes. And he's also pretty good in the tackle, because he'll get him close to you, and he'll time a tackle quite well as well. So for a midfielder, he's pretty good in the tackle. And I think that those attributes, I think, have sort of hampered him a bit, where he gets played lower in midfield as more like a mixed, you know, maybe deeper lying player, because he can do that defensive role as well, very well. But for me, he should be let off the hook a bit more, and he should be playing further forward. I would like to see Ceballos given more of a free role, free reign, you know, playing a bit further up in midfield, not having to go so deep into midfield all the time to help out. I'd like to see him get more of that free reign that he had when he was younger, playing for the under-21s, because he was incredible back then, linking up with the attack, and he was a really good creative midfielder, and he does have that in him. So we should let him do that more, and let Partey. We've got to let Partey do his part. You know, now of course I'm talking going forward now. We don't know on Sunday whether he's fit or not. I'm just talking in general terms now. We should let Partey do his role of shielding that midfield. You know, basically doing the clean-up job in midfield, and letting then, you know, Ceballos maybe have more of a free reign as well. I mean, I'd like to see that happen as well.
Yeah, as Miss Molina said, we want to show our youngsters onto the pitch, and they are the future, and let them flourish. Let them flourish a little bit. It seems like Pepe may start on Sunday, and we'll have a pre-game show as well. It looks like with injuries as well that we're going to get some of those players, a Willock or Emile Smith-Rowe, will find their way onto the team, I believe. You know, Gabriel, I think Gary was talking to me last week. Gabriel found himself onto the pitch due to injuries in the first team, due to Aubameyang, I think, getting the red card. So these situations will come up throughout the season, and you know, the players have to take advantage of it. Well, listen, who wants to start off with have your say, panel? I gave you all a little bit of homework, and we're getting into that. And I think someone wanted us to do a score prediction on the Premier League game. We're going to do that a little bit later. We'll give our score prediction for Arsenal as well. Tony, you want to go first?
Nope.
Did you do any homework? You didn't do any homework? Tony didn't do any homework. That's okay. It was not mandatory. You know what I mean? If you wanted to have your say, you can have your say. I know Gary has something prepared. Sam, you want to go first, Sam, or do you want to go, Gary?
Gary, he's got like a big speech prepared. He's got all the speech cards.
I'm going to probably let you guys down.
No, but Gary.
I just got something. I mean, I haven't really prepared anything special or anything. It's just an anecdote or an observation or whatever. I mean, the thing for me is, listen, I'm not Arteta out. I just want to say that I'm not Arteta out. I want to give him his chance. I think he should be given a fair chance. I think he should be given. And I mean, of course, this is predicated on results. I mean, if we keep going down and down and down, and we're struggling, really struggling towards the end of the season. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If it doesn't look like the guy is able to do his job, we just have to do what's right and pull the plug. I mean, that's what has to happen for the good of the club. You've got to remember, the club is, I mean, the club is the star. The club is the most important thing here. Arteta doesn't come ahead of Arsenal Football Club. It's not. No, it's what's best for Arsenal, not what's best for Arteta. Remember, that's what we've got to keep remembering here. And but listen, I am prepared to give Arteta a chance. I want him to have that summer transfer window again, not January, where things are always a bit difficult and different. I want him to have that summer transfer window where all the players that are supposed to be going now in their last year of their contract are gone. You know, the Ozils, the Kolasinacs, the Mustafis, all of them are all gone. and he can maybe bring in 2 or 3 other good players to fill in those gaps that he wants, and we can actually see what Arteta. I think next season, if Arteta gets that far and he gets that chance, I think we'll see next season what Arteta's really made of. That's what I think, and I hope, for Arsenal's sake and for Arteta's sake. Now, that being said, you've got to be able to, criticise what he's doing. No one's beyond criticism. If he's doing things that are absolutely clearly wrong, like against Aston Villa and in recent games, you've got to be able to criticise that. And he is not beyond reproach. And for me, this has been the one worrying thing for me, and this is what I want to get to my point here now, is the one worrying thing that I can't get out of my head with Arteta is he is a rookie. He has no experience in this situation. He has no experience of being in a difficult situation as a manager with all the responsibility on his shoulders to do the right thing, to pick the right players, have the right strategy, motivate the players in the right way, and get them going in the right direction again, and pull out the results we need to do. He doesn't have that experience. That's what's always worried me with Arteta. And it's like everyone likes like an analogy. And when I pull out this analogy, in my head, it sort of scares me because, you look at Arsenal. Look at Arsenal in the world of football, okay? We're not Gillingham. We're not Wrexham. We're not, we're not a low club. We're not where someone can take a chance for a day and see how it goes, We're Arsenal Football Club. We're one of the top 10 teams in the world. We're the 3rd biggest club in England, and we're probably top 10 worldwide in terms of how big we are in our stature. Now that's big. That's really big. You try and compare that to like other walks of life. So for me, I have this analogy, and it sort of scares me a bit when I think about it, because with Arteta, I'm thinking, you look at the QE2, that huge cruise liner, that huge passenger boat, right? The captain of the QE2, right? The captain, the guy who was in charge of the QE2 and 5,000 passengers, right?
Yep.
The guy who's the captain there, it's like with Arteta with us. It's like saying the captain of the QE2 has never sailed a boat before, right? You got the captain of the QE2. He's never been in a boat before. He's never sailed a boat before. Now, how strange does that sound, right? He's not the captain of the local fishing, ferry off of the, Cape Cod or whatever. He's this guy's the captain of the QE2. We've got Arteta. He's on the QE2, and he's never sailed a dinghy before, right? So that is worrying to me when I think of it in those terms. But we'll see, because I just want to finish my point off, because Arteta has to show it again now what he's made of, because I think he showed it once before by adapting to the 3-4-3 that really did get us out of a hole and made us much more rigid defensively, to talk about rigidity again. He fixed our defence by going to the 3-4-3. We played more robust, and we played better against the better teams with that formation. But now, when we're stifled in attack and we see nothing's working creatively, the front three's not working, he has to be able to change and adapt to this now and show, okay, now we need to do something different now going forwards from what we've done. He has to be able to do that. He has to be able to swallow his pride and say, okay, now we need to change things again. He needs to adapt again. If he does that, if we see against Leeds now, he's doing something different, we see he's trying something different, for me, that is a real positive sign. No matter how it goes against Leeds, even if we lose, if we see changes that he's actually trying to change something, for me, that's positive. For me, that's good. Exactly. But if he goes out there, I'm going to say it right now, if he goes out there on Sunday playing a 3-4-3 with the same players in the same positions, and we can't fucking do anything going forward, I'm gonna go crazy again.
I can see it. I can see it simmering right now.
Yeah, because to me, then we have to start asking these questions again, right? So let's see, if he adapts and he tries to change something, then we see there's something in this guy. Give him a chance, and that's what I want to say.
Yeah, and Stan agrees with you, and that's why we're going to have a pre-game show, because that lineup, Tony, is going to be very, very important. Gary, have your say, Gary.
All right, yeah, Sam kind of took a little bit of my fire because I was going to talk about Arteta, but I'm going to split mine up a little bit now, because I still have some comments that Arteta made, I believe, today or in the last couple of days, that I kind of want to give my say on them.
What
One
does
of them.
tranquilo mean? I don't know what that means.
It
Be
says,
tranquil.
calm down.
Be calm.
Oh, okay.
Chill,
Okay. Sorry.
chill, calm down.
Sorry, Brownie. Sorry.
Yeah.
Put
So
that
one of the
smoke
quotes
back
that
in there.
Arteta said, I think today, I was looking at least on Twitter, that's what he quoted. He was quoted as saying was, "We're a long way away, but the future is really bright." I don't see the brightness right now. I don't see the light. Like Sam said, one of the things that we want to see is that that there is light at the end of this tunnel, right? It's pretty dark right now. We're not seeing what we want to see. And Arteta isn't like shining any light on us that we can see and say, look, if you look here, you'll see it. We're still waiting to see that. So I'm hoping that that happens. The other thing that he said as well is, I'll read the quote: "You cannot build something new quickly when something has been damaged and hurt badly." That you can see a big split between even our own fans and the team. When you were in that stadium 10 months ago, I was shocked. So I think it's going back to when he first started and whatnot. He talked about, and I think he sold William, if I remember, on a 3-year plan. It doesn't sound like a 3-year plan based on those comments that I'm hearing from him today. And that's, I think, one of the things that he's going to have to learn as a manager is that you can't say some of the stuff that you say, especially if it gets out in the public eye. I mean, a 3-year plan coming from a manager who's never coached before, and the expectations are that you're going to be able to challenge for your league and win a big European or a Premier League championship is it's a pretty hefty goal that you're trying to accomplish here. And I think as a fan, most of us probably didn't think that's what's going to happen with the team that we had, with the manager that we had, with the management structure that we have, with the owners that we have. I mean, on the case of owners, Wrexham, Wrexham's got to be a cool team to play for, right? You've got Deadpool and unlimited amounts of gin. I mean, how can you go wrong? I mean, it's got to be a cool team to play for. So, but we don't have that. We do have a $5 billion stadium on the other side of the world, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have anything in England as far as the owner's concerned there. So, I feel like Arteta took on a big challenge. What is that? What's that say? NyQuil?
That's our next trophy.
Oh. I think Arteta is biting off more than he can chew, and I want to see more actions than talk. That's what I want to see. I want to see. And I've always said I would like to see improvements from day 1 to day 2. From game 1 to game 2. Like, all the things that went wrong in the last game, I'd like to see them improved. We say this every time, and then we see something totally new. We use the same formation, and we can't keep Aston Villa contained. I mean, these other teams that we're playing, they have some serious attacking players that we have to deal with. Like, Bamford, if you give him space, he's going to kill us, right? So, with that, I think Arteta's got to some degree. I want him to temper his emotions and his thought process and all of that, and try to only bite what he can chew up, and that's it. Don't take him too much. This is a big task.
What you want from your manager is to say all the right things at the right time, even if you don't. If you're like checking yourself and saying that I really hear what he said, you still want your manager to say that. You want your players to go out and put it out on the field and do it.
If
that
the right there.
Are going out and doing it, Arteta can say whatever he likes. Then
Yeah. And that's what that also is what that is a key thing there is, right. Our manager just went out there and said this. We got to follow suit with it, or else he's going to look stupid. I don't think the players are either listening to what he's saying or could care less, right? I mean, because he's out there saying that he's going to do a lot of things, and we're not seeing any of it, and we're not seeing the players do it, right? I mean, this is, I don't want to bash on him, but that's where we are right now. We want to see improvement on our team. We fixed the defense to some degree, and then it looked really bad last game. We're going to have to go back. It sounds like we're going to have to revert back a little bit and make sure the defense is solid, so then we can move forward. I mean, yeah. So that's kind of my thing. I think he's taken on a big chore, and I think he's been. I like to say he's been let down. Right, he's been let down by the ownership. He's been let down by the management team as far as the players that he wants. He's kind of let himself down a little bit with what he said and what he's done. The players in some cases have let him down. They come on the field and they don't look like they deserve to be there, right? He's asking them to do certain things. Some players do it, and you can see it, right? They're asked to play more defense than they probably are used to. That's just the way he's coaching, and that's if you want to get on the field, that's what you got to do. And why won't you do that? I think that all stems from he's been let down by his captain, right? Your captain is. I mean, I've seen Aubameyang come back for balls and try to make attacks. But I don't think he gets his teammates to do that, right? Because you see Pepe on the other side come up. He's all about attacking, but when he comes back, he looks like he doesn't. He doesn't want to do that. That's not what he wants to do. But guess what? This team, you got to do both. You got to do both, and he doesn't do that.
We want the players to kind of buy in as well. And Alonso, I'm going to come to you next. But Gary, you made some very good points about hindsight. Look back a year from now, we had Unai Emery at the wheel, and I think people need to check themselves a little bit and say we could still have Unai Emery. We've had Arteta for less than a year, one trophy with us. Things are not going so great, but in these 2 weeks, like Sam said, like Gary said, we need to see that team sheet on Sunday and have some clues as to things are going to go in the right direction. Alonso. Have your say, Alonso.
So basically, going to talk about what Sam and Gary has already said about Miguel Arteta, and I think that when he first came on, we saw positive results. We saw draws, we saw some losses, we saw some wins. Yeah. And I think what Miguel Arteta had been a former Arsenal player is that he had created this pressure for himself to want to do well. And I think this is why since the pandemic, since the restart, you see him shouting at players and then for him to want them to do the work that they're not accustomed to doing. And I think that it's frustrating as a fan because you see him on social media acting a fool and cracking jokes and laughing and giggling and all that stuff, but there's no really end product once the game starts, once it finishes. And, I think in some cases, Arteta has to become more of a demeanor type of coach because, it's okay to laugh, but and crack jokes, but you also have to start winning games too. And I think that, I think it all stems from Emery being a coach there. It's like they're too relaxed, and I think that whenever the ropes going rough, you don't need to see that stuff. So you need to see more passion and more improvement. And Arteta, the guys aren't doing that. And with Arteta, he's also playing guys out of position as well, to where they're not gonna do as good as their natural positions you would think they would be doing well. So, in my opinion, it's still a mess. And when Arteta doesn't see any positives in the formations, then he's constantly doing it. It's going to become a problem, and it's just going to set the team back even more. And not playing, say, Aubameyang through the middle, or having have a really and play over Pepe is a hard problem as well. And he needs to use some of his younger players more. He needs to use his players more frequently, younger, so they get more used to playing the first team.
Give them more game time. Give them a run in the team. Yeah, definitely.
So, and he needs to have more,
changing.
Yeah, so he needs to have more confidence in them as well because we're going to need them at some point.
Yeah, good point.
Alonso, what's your confidence that will start happening Sunday and continue on from there?
Well, I think that Joe Willock he's more ready than ever to start. Yeah. I think that he sees his confidence in Europa League games, and I think he's ready now. And I think, at what point also does Arteta take a risk and give these youngsters a chance to not only play one game out the whole Premier League every once a month, maybe, but every 2 games, maybe once a game. He needs to play them in tough games as well, not just the easy games, but the hard games as well, so he could have that experience to grow. Like a Willock or like a Reece Nelson or a Moses Rowe, even the defense like William Saliba, and give them a go, and so we just need them.
And I heard a really terrible thing. There's a rumor about Saliba that he's lost his other parent as well. So that is terrible, terrible news, and adds more context to what's been going on with that young man's life in the last 6 months. It's been a tough road for him as well. Tony, still with us?
Yep, still
I don't
here.
hear you snoring. Have your say, Tony, and then we'll get on to the Premier League. And I've charged each one of us to pick out a shock result. So stay tuned for the Premier League preview. We are each going to pick out a shock result, and our reputations are going to be on the line throughout the weekend. Tony, have your say.
I'm going to go back to where we never really finished off on Luis McClown and Ceballos.
Yeah,
it's fine if you're fighting and stuff like that in practice, but you need to also show that passing on a pitch, which the guys are not doing at all. Especially the last game we seen, we just didn't show up at all. The players need to be showing that passing all the time.
Do you believe that should be a fine? It should be a fine situation by Arteta, or do you think it happens on the training pitch? Let it go. Continue.
I think it happens, but I think somebody needs to make an example out of. Normally, I'd probably let it go, but I think it's time to start showing that he can't always play favorites. Go ahead and fine him, bench him, do whatever you can to show you can't be doing that horse shit, then come into the game and not show up and play.
Bear shit, right?
Horse shit.
Yep. Bear
Anything
shit.
else?
Going back to what Sam said on Arteta, I think it's plenty time to start criticizing him, and he's just been way too rigid.
And look, you can support the manager, but you have to, if you see something that is not what you think is right, you can absolutely discuss it. And that's what we do. We get together twice a week and discuss it. Right? Listen, if anyone's watching on playback, slap the like button. Hit it if you haven't already. And thanks, Melina, for that reminder. And will we move on to anyone else got anything else to say? It was quite a lively session. We might actually do this again, Gary. What do you think?
It's like Speaker's Corner at Hyde Park, isn't it?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was on mute here trying to talk to everyone. I was gonna say on a maybe a positive note in the future. I did see there was some report that is it a Nigerian senator maybe may want to buy stake in Arsenal.
Dangote. It's not Dangote.
No, it's not there. It's not the original guy. So it's another person. Which means that if that means there's competition for it, that's good, right? The trick is whether Stan is not smart enough to let that sale go through, because I think based on what he's doing right now, it's working just fine. But based on what we want to see. I feel like, he needs to sell and let somebody else kind of step in that wants to kind of, sign the checks essentially, right?
Yeah. Ray Anderson's joined us. Lumbercam's here, and Ryan from Mr. Arsenal podcast as well. So people check out Ryan over on Mr. Arsenal podcast. He's on the verge of 1,000 subscribers. So if anyone share the content, let them know about Ryan's podcast as well. Check him out. And get him over that hump. We are also close to 300 here, so let's get us over 300 as well. So let's get on to the Premier League preview. And the first game up is Newcastle versus Chelsea. Alonso, you want to start us off? Newcastle versus Chelsea. And as the games go around, let us know if this is your shock result that you're going to pick.
I'm picking Newcastle, and I think it'll be 2-1.
Right, so is that the shock that you're going to hang your hat on?
Yeah.
You think Newcastle will lead? And a shock can be a draw against Chelsea or a win. And I actually agree with you. I think Newcastle could beat Chelsea the first game of the weekend. Gary, what do you think? Newcastle, Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it hard to believe that Newcastle's going to be able to maintain and shock them. I don't. I'm trying to think who's on Newcastle again. Who should I if they're gonna shock Chelsea? Who are they gonna do it with? That's kind of my question there.
They are a well-oiled machine. They have decent players, and they're playing at home.
Name one.
San Maximan.
I don't know who that is. Why should I know who that is?
The winger. He's the winger.
And Sam, is this your buddy?
Said Maximan.
Yeah,
I play part-time for Newcastle.
No, I mean, I think Werner could probably beat Newcastle on a, that's kind of how I'm looking at that game right now. I kind of feel like Chelsea's just got too many weapons. And even if they're not playing, as a team, they can make things happen individually that I don't think Newcastle is going to be able to stop when it keeps coming, right? So I feel like, that one's an easy one, Chelsea for me.
Chelsea to win. Tony?
2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. That's it. Enough said. Masterclass from Lampard is implied. Sam?
The Chelsea game, I just think Chelsea are too good for Newcastle, to be honest. I mean, it's their team's frightening at the moment. I mean it's they're starting to gel, aren't they? So I don't know. I think it's gonna be too tough for now. I'd love to get for Newcastle to get a point or 3 points. I really would, but I just can't see it happening. Not with that Chelsea team.
I have an idea where your shock result is going to be. We'll get to that later. The Fulham game, I think. Once again, Alonso, it's me and you against the three of them. We want Chelsea's downfall, and the other three are thinking logically. Alonso, the second game is Aston Villa at home to Brighton.
I think it'd be like 2-3 to Villains. They're playing pretty good right now. So, and Brighton is Brighton. So I give it to Aston Villa.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Aston Villa, buoyed by beating us, and Brighton have not been good. Aston Villa playing at home, and Alonso and I have already used our shock wild card in the Newcastle game, so we're going to wait where the other three guys pick theirs. Gary, Alonso, Gary, Aston Villa, Brighton.
Yeah, I think it'll be like you guys said. I think it'll be a close game. One, because I think Grealish will be a little tired from all of his playing in the break and all of the praise he's probably gotten the last couple of days. So I feel like it'll be a closer game than we expect, but I think Villa will pull it out, with a 1-goal lead and a win.
Yeah, they're playing well, and we talked earlier about Joe Willock. Off the back of the Europa League performances, I wanted him to play against Aston Villa. I just wonder if him coming in Sunday for us, his form will have slowed down a little bit. Just a buy note there. Tony, Aston Villa versus Brighton.
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. That's pretty good. You're the king of the draws, Tony. Sam?
Yeah, I just think Aston Villa will edge it. Just I think it could be a draw, but I think Aston Villa will just edge it because they're in quite good form lately, and they've got better players than Brighton in attack, and I can just see him edging it like a 2-1, something like that.
Next, I actually agree as well. I think Aston Villa win. Tottenham City, I think that's a draw. We need something to slow the Tottenham train down a little bit. We will be going to Shite Hart Lane, I'd say, in about 3 games from now. We play, obviously, we play Leeds, we play Wolves, and then we go to Tottenham. So I'm hoping City and Tottenham play out a draw. Otherwise, City win in that one. Alonso?
I think City will win. I think again it'll be 2-0. I think City are still a good team despite their mishaps, and I think
Yeah.
that Tottenham, they're a good team, but they're not Man City team. I mean, Man City good, on their best day. So I think it'll be Man City. I win for Man City.
Yeah, I see Tottenham with Son and Bale and Kane settling in to be a dangerous team. So I'm really hoping City beat them now. Gary?
Yeah, I can't. No, I don't. No, I'm not getting it. No, they're not getting any points. Yeah, you know who I'm
Can't do
talking
it.
about.
I tried
they're
to
not
set
getting.
you up, huh?
No, yeah, they're not getting any points. No.
No.
No,
No.
I
Not
think
gonna do
the team from Manchester is going to get all the points. I mean, that's what I want. I they are they look pretty. Their attack is pretty strong when they come forward. So that's the thing that's a little scary. And the way that we played against Man City, if right now the table is true to form, then I think it could get ugly,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing that I fear, but I don't want them to get any points. So, but I also fear that they'll continue to do what they've done. They may come out and they may come out pretty strong, but I think they will let you back in. And I think Manchester City is a good team to be able to come back on them when they start to slow down. They'll probably be there the whole game, so that's kind of where I feel like they could jump out to a 2-0 lead and lose 3-2, with late goals, So that's kind of what I'm. Yeah,
Right.
but I'm not. Yeah, I'm like no, they don't get any points.
You're not. I got you. You're not. And Ray Anderson, we wish you well in recovery. So
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely want to echo that as well.
Yeah.
Tony?
2-1 City.
Spurs City.
2-1 City.
2-1
Yeah.
City. Sharp to the point. Sam?
Yeah, I just think City will. I'm hoping they'll just be too strong on the day. Like you say, Spurs have some good attacking weapons, but they're not great at the back. And City are strong in attack. So and they're also Spurs have this ability, like Gary says, to all of a sudden they'll have a few brain farts and they're letting a few stupid goals and letting late goals and things like that. They're not mentally strong, late in games. So yeah, I think City, and I hope City will be too strong for them. Even though City have had some brain farts this season as well, right? I mean, they're not quite where they used to be, but I'm just hoping City's going to be too strong for them. I want to see Tottenham lose this one.
Okay. Next one is Man United, West Brom, and I think that's a clear-cut win for Manchester United. They recovered against Everton, so Ole's back at the wheel. They're going to win their 2 games, and then they're going to lose another 2. Alonso, what do you think, Man United, West Brom, and I'm still waiting for Gary Shocks, Tony Shocks, and Sam Shock. Probably coming up in the Sunday games.
It'd be kind of cool to see Karen Gibbs, put one in the net, but I don't think that'll happen. But so I think it'll be a Manchester United win. I think it'll be 3-0 to Manchester United.
2-0.
Brom aren't very good right now, so
Yeah.
what's the point?
All right, Gary, Man United, West Brom.
Yeah, I mean, it's either this or the next one for me, but I think I'm going to go. Here's my shocker. I think West Brom will tie. We'll get a tie. We'll get a tie out of this, a draw out of this. 2-2 draw. That's the kind. I'm going to go with my shocker here because either this one or the next one. I can't see it with any of the other ones, but this one would be a shock. And also, I think it'd be. I think everybody. I think everybody wants to see us lose just because they want to see us melt down. I can only imagine if Man United loses. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about meltdown. That would be a serious meltdown, and Ollie out again. You know, so
If
that's what I'm gonna go with. Like, you know, I want to smile. You know, at the end of the day on Saturday, I'd like to be able to smile. That definitely put a smile on my face.
Hey, Gary, do you have Karen Gibbs scoring against Manchester United?
That would be nice, wouldn't it? You know, former Arsenal player comes in and makes our day.
Top corner screamer from Kieran Gibbs.
Yeah, so that would be my shocker right there. I mean, that has got to be that'll be the biggest shocker of the weekend. So,
yeah. I want to give a shout out. Want to give a shout out to everybody on the panel, everybody in the chats, and everybody's going to watch this. You don't get any BS on this channel. You don't get any goofballs coming in giving crap. We all get along, and we all play nice. So I want to give everybody a shout out because see many channels with goofballs on there and doing all kinds of shit. So I want to give it. This is what we stand for. This is what we do, and I want to give a shout out to Sam as well, who was on Ryan's podcast the other day. I enjoyed the Only Fools and Horses episode. No Stan said the same thing as well.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
That was good.
Good stuff, Ryan. I like how you guys on the panel are willing to give Arteta criticism and ask the questions we need to. Most of our fan base refuse to give Arteta any criticism whatsoever. If it's justified, we will mention things.
Yeah, maybe if you miss a sitter, we're going to complain, right?
Yeah.
If you drop to the ground when you're supposed to be defending, we're going to complain. So if we feel like if the manager is one of those same guys on the field that we have to look at, so everybody gets a piece of our rage, right? The owner, the management team, the manager, coach, the players. I mean, that they all get some of it.
Ray Anderson wants to know, do we keep a record of our predictions? I do. I scroll back to this podcast on Saturdays and Sundays, and I watch what each of you say. And I hold it against you if you do something, if you say something. And I give you credit if you do make predictions correctly as well. So it's just a little bit of fun. Ray, I hope you're recuperating well, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
There's
Ray.
We have done watch-alongs on Sundays, but we will not be doing a watch-along on Sunday. We'll be having a post-game and a pre-game for the show. Tony, Man United, West Brom.
I think it'll be closer than people think it will be, but I still think Man U gets the 3 points in the end.
Stan's laughing at me saying goofballs. Try to keep it a little clean, Damn, Man United, West Brom. No shock.
Yeah.
This is your shock result? No?
No, it's not. I think Manchester United are just too good for West Brom. West Brom. All due respect, West Brom are the worst team in the Premier League. So it's not easy for them, and even with Manchester United and their problems, they're going to be too good. I don't think it'll be a big blowout. Like, I don't think they're going to win with like 3 or 4 goals or anything like that. But I do think they'll win. They'll win. I think Manchester United will win the game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alonso, we love hearing you on the panel. I look forward to you lads every Thursday and on the weekends. Good stuff.
But Sam, would be fun to see them lose points.
I'd love to see him lose, because just for the meltdown, like you say, because it's so entertaining to see Twitter just completely melt down, isn't it? But it's got to be a pretty epic failure, hasn't it, at Old Trafford even with no fans, Old Trafford to lose against West Brom.
Yeah, it would be a big deal. Okay, Sunday we go into Fulham versus Everton. Everton lost against Man United before the Interlull. I do think Everton have enough to get out in that game and win 2-1. Alonso?
I say you're right. I agree with you. Right. I think we 2-1. Yeah.
All right. Still waiting for shocks from Gary, Tony, and Sam. Gary?
No, I did give my shock. You guys didn't like it. Do I get another one because you didn't like my first one?
What was your shock?
It was West Brom's going to tie and get points out of that game.
Oh, really? I didn't hear
Yes.
that.
What?
Okay.
You check the videotape.
I sure will. It's okay. I got you down now. Got you. Okay. Fulham
Yeah, the
versus
Fulham
Everton.
game. Yeah, I don't. I think Fulham is who we thought they were. Right. We struggle. I feel like we struggled against them. I think they're not that good. You know, we could have scored more goals. We hit the post. So I can only imagine. And Richarlison will be back, right? So he's probably be yearning to get something out of that game. So I feel like they're going to be on the attack, and Fulham's going to wilt under. They're going to come back to some sort of form. So I feel like Everton will win that one. 3-0. 3-0.
A question for you, Gary, from the Assemble. Do you believe paying world-class wages to Arsenal players makes them world-class, or the players just have good agents?
Or the team just doesn't have good money sense. I mean, we know that there are better players out there for a lot less than what we're getting out of the players that we're putting on the field. I mean, there's something to be said about, like for all the Gabriels that we buy, there's a Pepe and a I'm not gonna say the name, the guy with the O, and hopefully not Aubameyang in years to come. So we do. I think we get lucky on some respects, and then we pay over in there. Willian's going to be it's going to hurt us. We know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're not going to get our money's worth there. That was not necessary. The Louise resale wasn't necessary. The Cedric and Mari 4-year deals weren't necessary at the time. I mean, I think.
I remember back, Gary. We did a podcast with the Liverpool guys, Dave and Jack, and they said Liverpool had made something like 15 out of 19 of their transfers worked out for them. So that's the kind of frequency that a club has to hit in terms of going into the transfer market and having good success rate in terms of getting the right players. So
there's something to be said also. Yeah, there's something to be said where we bring players in from outside the country, and then we feel like sometimes we got to let them kind of ease into this thing sometimes, right? And then I think Gabriel got forced to play, and then we realized, ooh, what do we have here? Partey, I think that was probably an easy one, right? Saliba, I think they've maybe coddled him too much, and then all this stuff has happened, so then now they're like even worse off than they want to be. And I feel like you bring these players in from outside the country, you need to see if you got a good thing going on and see if it's going to work. And I think, like you said, if you're going to take the risk monetarily, you should take a risk on the field as well, because you saw something in them, and that's why they paid and they made that money. But if you're gonna spend it, but I feel like we've spent wrong. So I think it's not whether we it's not whether they have good agents. I think sometimes we also have to take some blame in that we're paying too much money for the players that we bring in.
Oh yeah, we got to take some ownership of that. We got to bring the wages down. And I know there's a disparity between London and Liverpool in terms of wages as well. So we actually pay more money to our players. But Brownie said, watching you guys trying not to laugh at some comments is funny. Yeah, we tried to mix it up a little bit, Adam. Where we try to have some fun as well and talk a little bit about football, and that's the mix that we're gonna have. And I think you can see the atmosphere here. The vibe is good. So long may that continue. See, Tony's so relaxed. He's just laying back there, enjoying things. This is his podcast. What do we say? We're giving out coupons or something, Gary?
Yeah, we all get a. I was going to make another comment on that, but I didn't know if it was going to be taken well. One where, so you've got Tony, on the bed doing his show, and it sounds bad, but I was going to say like under the covers, So the next show we're all underneath our covers, so it's like we're in our bedroom fort doing it, as a little kid, you remember having the bedroom forts, right? That's what we'll do. We'll all be under the sheets, Yeah, that doesn't even sound right.
Yeah.
So sorry.
And,
Yeah.
no, it's not right. It's not right. And
like I said, I think it didn't sound right in my head, and it didn't sound right when it came out my mouth. And
I was actually thinking about Gary. I was actually thinking about we're going to close out the show by doing 3 rounds of Mexican waves. So we didn't even choreograph it or practice. So we're going to try it. We're going to close out the show with a Mexican wave, just because I was driving to work one day and I was like, it would be kind of fun to do a Mexican wave, either to open the show or to finish the show. Tony, you don't look comfortable there. I got to say that much stuff.
you need a bigger pillow for come on, one of those big
for your noggin.
Yeah,
I got one.
all right.
Tony.
No, I mean one of the big ones, like the big body pillow type things, all
right, that's his other hand, Brownie. That's his other hand. Okay.
Tony's dead horse.
Gary, that's another show, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
Davy Crockett doesn't need pillows.
Tony's allowed the guy wrestles.
That's true.
He uses beavers for pillows.
Tony's dead horse.
Got bear pelts laying all around.
Let's get back on track. We're not going to do the Monday games. We're just going to finish out Sunday. Tony, Fulham versus Everton.
Everton should give the easy win.
Yeah. All right, this is it. Your shock is coming in the next couple of games, right, Tony? You have a shock? Okay. Sam's going to pick a shock in this game, right?
Yeah, for me, this one. It's I think Fulham's going to get points against Everton.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's I think Fulham. It's about time they start. I mean, they won their second to last game. They've got to start producing something if they're going to have any chance of survival. I don't think they will, but it's just got to happen. And Everton have been poor lately. I mean, their form hasn't been great lately, and they can still lose points in this one. That's my choice anyway for the shocker this week. So I'm thinking Everton are going to lose points. I'm thinking Fulham are going to get points out of this game.
I was busting on you earlier, but I was pretty sure you were going to pick that one. Did we do it just to piss Brownie off a little bit, or what?
Well, Brownie's a Cardiff fan, but I think he's got some kind of affinity with Everton anyway. Everton somehow.
Well, he has a bet with me. He says Everton will finish above Arsenal. Yeah. And I'm going to keep reminding him about that. He knows that. Okay. Sheffield United versus West Ham. I think it's a very dangerous game for West Ham. I think Sheffield United will win that game. Sorry, Charlie. Alonso?
I think it'll be a 2-2 draw.
Okay. Gary?
Yeah, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Definitely. I could see it 2-2 for sure. I mean, I feel like that's got 2-2 written all over it. So, yeah.
West Ham are so like Arsenal. They can do well against the really good teams, but slip up against these kind of teams.
Yeah, but Sheffield, I mean, I feel like they both have it in them to give up goals. So I'm going to go with a 2-2. I feel like Sheffield on the attack could do it, and Sheffield will give you opportunities to score if you jump on them pretty quickly. So,
and let's not forget, Sheffield United played Chelsea recently, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal recently. So they've gotten all those tough teams out of the way. Tony, Sheffield United, West Ham.
2-1 Sheffield.
2-1 Sheffield. Okay, we're big on Sheffield here. Sam.
I think it's about time Sheffield United did something now. Yeah, their form has been very poor. They've struggled to score goals. They've been very poor in attack. They're bottom of the table, but they do have it in them to produce something. So I'm hoping it's going to happen now against West Ham, because they have to turn it around if they're going to go get out of relegation. They have to turn it around. So now's the time to do it against West Ham. Yeah. I can see Sheffield United getting a result out of that game.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Leeds Arsenal last to close out the show. Let's go with Liverpool Leicester. This is gonna be a tricky game at Anfield. Um, I got a funny feeling with all those injuries. Do Liverpool even have a back line now? All those injuries they have. I'm gonna put my hat on Leicester and think that they will win that game. Alonso,
Yeah, I think Leicester's on top of the table, right? So
yes.
right now they're playing pretty well, and I think they have enough to hold off Liverpool. So I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be somehow Liverpool will score a goal. So I think it'll be a 2-1 win for the Foxes.
2-1 to Leicester. Gary,
Yeah, I think it's all a matter of Vardy versus Mane and Salah. Which
Salah's
one?
not going to be playing.
Oh, he's not playing. So all right, so it's just Mane, right?
wow.
So Salah's not going to be playing. It's going to be Mane, but I think he's going to be alone. He's going to be out there by himself.
Salah decided to go to a friend's wedding, and he got COVID.
Ridiculous. These are role
Oh, that's
models.
right. Yeah, they did show the video of him hanging out. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then
These people are role models in society.
This. All right. Well, I had Vardy beating them anyways because Vardy is Vardy, and he didn't play during the break. He's probably yearning to get some goals in, right? So I'm gonna think Vardy wins this one, and 2-1. Vardy, late goal, cross, little tip in. Yeah.
Right at the back stick, he's waiting to clean up.
Yep.
Liverpool will
They're
win
gonna make a mistake.
reassemble.
They're gonna fall asleep at the wheel, and voila, they lose the point they had.
Tony,
I think it'll start off as a tight game, but Leicester will get a win.
of course it'll start off as a tight game. Every game starts off tied. Boom.
Every game starts at 0-0, right? I mean,
I think he's saying you're number one, Ray. You're number one. You're number one.
Ray's number one.
Couldn't resist, Tony. If I hadn't said it, someone else would have.
It's funny.
I love you, Tony. Even if it flipped me off, yeah.
He did it with love, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on. Sam, Leicester versus Liverpool.
No, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool do in this game because they really are struggling. I mean, they've got no Salah. Their defensive line is just completely, gone. They haven't been in the greatest form either this season. Leicester are in form now. They're looking pretty good. They're playing well. So on paper, Leicester are the favourites. On paper, I think Leicester will get a win out of this game. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as we think. But, I think Leicester will get a win out of this one. And they'll get the 3 points. Because, I just can't really see Liverpool doing well enough with all the players they have missing. They've got too many key players missing at the moment. So, if Liverpool do get a win out of this game, then I think that'd be very impressive for them.
Yeah, it would be definitely. I think Liverpool fans are looking at this and saying we'd be Leicester, and we can assume the top spot in the league. But I just don't think it's going to go that way for Liverpool in this game. Okay, Leeds versus Arsenal. We've come to the big one. Tony, is any of your shocks in the Burnley, Palace, Wolves, Southampton games?
Nope.
Okay, is your shock in this game?
Yep.
I guess the rules I'm thinking would be a team from the first 10 has to be beaten by a team from the bottom 10, and we're in the bottom 10. So I'm going to allow this. It's admissible in court. Are you going to say Arsenal will beat Leeds as your shock?
Nope.
Okay, what are you going to say? What's your shock?
2-1 Leeds. 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds will beat Arsenal. Is that your shock?
Yep.
Okay.
Jesus,
All right.
Tony.
2-1 Leeds. He said it, Gary.
Oh my! Oh, Tony.
Isn't
All right.
isn't that the name of an R&B group, Gary?
Yes, it is. It is.
Somebody tell me the last
here we
time
go.
we won after international break.
Yeah, here we go. Here's my prediction because it's way off from Tony's. Leeds has lost their last 2 games 4-1, 4-1. Why not continue the trend? Why not? They gave
Shame
up
on
right.
you, Tony.
They gave up a
Shame.
header. They gave up a free kick. They gave up an own goal, and then they had a breakdown on defense. Come on, that's 4. We can do that. They can do that
We
for
can
us.
do this.
Who's going to score a header for us? We've got no one can head the ball.
I've seen Gabriel do it, and he it looks
Oh,
like
it's
he
looking
did
from
it
a
anyway.
corner. It's looking from a corner or something like that. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how the header went in. Yeah. So
Aubameyang.
yeah. I mean, it was their captain. It was their captain that put the header in. So why not our captain?
Yeah, from a
right?
corner or something like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So So yeah, I'm going with 4-1 because I want them to continue the trend. They're already trending there.
4. Wow.
Yeah, we need a break.
You think Arsenal's going to score 4 goals?
We need a breakout game. At some point, it's gonna stick, right? It's gonna stick, right? They need 3 in a row, and then nobody will be talking about Leeds anymore because you know what? Because the other way around, we're in trouble, right? If Tony's happens, everybody's gonna be laughing at us again. I don't like that. They can't wait to laugh at us, man. That's the thing. Man.
I don't know if Tony can hear us, but Steve Denham has lost a little bit of respect for you, Tony. Says, Tony, no, how could you? How could you do that, Tony?
Yeah.
Break little Steven's heart.
Darren,
Evil.
thanks for joining us tonight, Darren.
Hey, Darren.
Hello, Darren.
Alonso, did you do
Darren.
Arsenal? Did you do Arsenal Leeds yet? I think.
No.
Go ahead, Alonso. You do
Go
Arsenal.
first. You go first, Ray.
Okay, I agree with Gary. Leeds are on the slide, and I think somebody said they are sort of plateauing a little bit earlier in the podcast. The Leeds are not. They started off pretty well. I think this will be an anomaly. We will score 3 goals away from home, and we will concede 1. 3-1 will be the result. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. It's just my reputation on the line once again.
And yeah, for me, I think that Gary's right. I think that this is a game that we should just turn players on. I mean, just
turn on the taps, right?
Yeah, turn the light on. I think this is a game, and I think it's important that we get a blowout win at some point to show that we could be a player in the top 4 at least, and I think this is a game that we do this, and I think it'd be 4-2 Arsenal.
4-2 Arsenal. That's going to be a hell of a game. Bielsa has the biggest head in football. Have you seen the size of it? It's like a planet.
I mean, the assembles there said that we like to break our opponent's trends, and I feel like at some point we're going to have to break that trend.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm going to say this until it happens. It hasn't happened yet. Why not this weekend?
Exactly.
Why can't we instead of giving out presents, give out coal, right? Why not? They deserve it. Maybe not, but we deserve to get something out of a game, and to run away with it. Run away with the points.
Look at this. That's dedication down there. Darren, he's watching 2 podcasts at the same time because he can and because he's got the technology to do so. Big up yourself, Darren. Sam, Leeds, Arsenal.
Yeah, I think Arsenal. If we show up and we give 110%, I think we'll win. But it depends on what Arteta does. To be honest, it really does, because it depends on who he picks, what formation he goes for. I mean, it really does depend on who he chooses, because it's going to be very different depending on on who he goes for. But at the end of the day, we do have to start scoring goals, no matter what. No matter what, we have to kickstart our goal scoring now, and I really hope it happens against Leeds, because we have a chance against Leeds. They let in a lot of goals. They have that high pressing, high intensity game. So they score goals, but at the same time they let in a lot of goals as well. They're very vulnerable at the back. So I think we need to get at them, and attack them, and I hope we can do what Gary said. I really do. I hope we can.
It's all about. It's all about
Yeah.
here. It's got to be a different mindset, and it's got to be a different something going
I
on.
hope we break that duck, and I hope we score a few goals. I really do. I hope we get 2 or 3 at least. Would be nice. And I do think we'll win. I think we'll win if we have the right team out there and we give 110%. I think we'll beat Leeds. That's what I think.
Yeah, definitely. Tony, give us your Don Juan man of the match.
Of what match?
This
Last week,
podcast.
kid?
You get to nominate someone in the chats.
Uh,
I put him on the spot.
Man of the match in the chat. Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, sure. Comment of the night, anything like that.
Stan.
What?
Stan the
Stan
man.
just said William through the middle. That's non-negotiable. We've done that once already. Come on, Stan. We don't want to see it again.
Dan, that's a non-negotiable. You will be receiving a fine in the mail. We'll be sending out your fine to you in the mail.
I think to his defence, he was referring to my comment of Arteta playing the players in the right positions. I think he was saying don't play Willian in the middle again, because that was a complete and utter brain fart, wasn't it?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
No, you might
All
be.
right. So listen, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the likes before you leave, and we're going to practice the Mexican wave. We're going to go around 3 times. We're going to go clockwise. So I'll start, and I'll go to Alonso and right around, and we'll see how it goes. See if you enjoy it, right? Here, ready? 1, 2, 3. Gary? Faster. Oh my God, we're terrible at this.
Alonso, there we go.
All right, listen, we need some work. We'll practice on that between now and the next podcast. But thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. The Interlull is almost over. It's football is back on Saturday, and we will see you on Sunday. We'll have a pre-game show. I don't know what location Tony will be coming from on Sunday, but it'll definitely be interesting, right, Gary?
I think he's going to come from the bear cave.
Oh, look at that.
After he wrestles him, throws him out of his cave, then he's going to say, I'm taking over from here. It's going to be a little dark, but you know what? That's all right. It's got Wi-Fi.
He's going to be covered in beavers and possums.
Steven said you guys are mad. Well, you don't know half of it, Steven. You're only getting to know a little bit of it. Much more to come. Keep watching. If you know anyone, share the podcast. Get us over 300 subscribers. Hit the like button. The viewing numbers are getting up there now. We're getting up into the hundreds. People are actually watching this stuff. It's amazing.
People are actually watching.
It's amazing. Listen, everyone stay safe out there. We got to get back into the protocols we were doing in spring and be safe out there till the medical people can get us the stuff we need, and stay safe for a few more months. We will see you on Sunday. Be